Alright, welcome back everybody. Latest video. This is Harmony Premium 24. We're going to be doing pegs. We're going to be doing adding in, and easing out. We're going to be bouncing a ball. I'm joined by my class today. Y'all can say hi.
What up, YouTube? Good luck.
This is live. One shot. We're going to do this in one shot. This isn't the video that you see where people record it and then they're allowed to go edit it. Nope, we're no-hitting this on our first attempt. Okay, so I'll teach you guys at the same time if you want to listen. A peg is what you see here. All right? What pegs have been used for traditionally in animation is it allows you to keep your paper together at the same spot. That way when you're animating or when you're drawing from paper to paper, what do you think it does? It keeps it consistent, right? In terms of location. What does that mean for a digital frame though? You don't need a peg for a digital frame, right? Like how does this translate to digital? It doesn't, right? Like what do I need it for here? It's all here, right? Every frame afterward already is on the same peg, right? So what a peg does in Harmony is it allows you to take a drawing. So like let's say for example your drawing is this girl right here and you want to animate her. You put a peg with the drawing and anything that's attached to that one single peg animates together. So you can have something animated by going to the right on one peg, you put something else on another peg, and you can have it going to the left at the exact same time something else is moving. So it connects the drawings you want to move together. That's what a peg does. And if you want to know more, go to Toon Boom. Right here, I'll link it in the video. Right here. Boom. All right. Let's see it in action. You ready to see it in action? Yeah. All right, so, and you should be doing this too because this is your assignment as well, right? So, all I did was file new. That's it. File new. I opened up my color over here. So, you might not have it. You might want to add your color over here. That way you can choose what color you want to work with. I got my tool properties up here on the top right. First thing we are going to do is add a ball. And I want the ball to be white, so I'll choose that. Left click. If you hold down Shift, left click, hold, you create a perfect circle.
Oh, perfect circle.
Let's fill it in. You can fill it in with any color. Do we want to do white, red, black, green, or blue? What do we think?
Green.
Green it is for Halloween. I'm sorry, Christmas. Okay, this up here is our select tool, so if we lasso it, we can move it around. So far, so good. Okay, so what we need to do is add a peg. So that's going to be right up here above the plus icon. Remember, what do pegs do? They allow us to take our drawing and animate that drawing. So that's what we're going to do. So we have our drawing here. You notice that on these other frames, if I press the comma or the period, it allows me to go from frame to frame. You'll see as on 20, you'll see down here. I'm going from frame to frame. I want this thing to bounce up and down. So let's plan it out first. Guys, always please plan it out. Don't just go step by step. Let's plan it out. I know I want to take 41 frames. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to right click it. I'm going to do extend exposure. Think of exposure as like how much time you're taking your camera and opening it up for to take a picture. I'm opening it up for 41 frames on this one. 41. You hear that? 41. So you'll now see down here on the drawing that that drawing has been open for 41 frames. Right? 41 frames. Same drawing. Cool. Let's add some keyframes now. Right click it, insert keyframe. Let's insert a keyframe here. Right click, and let's do one at the dead center, 21. So now nothing has changed yet. All my keyframes look identical, right? So what does a keyframe do if not add a spot that you want to say, hey, something's going to be different here, right? So what we're going to do is halfway through, I want the ball to bounce off the ground. So that's that keyframe that we put in the middle. I want it to stay on the ground. So what we're going to do is click our Layer Transform tool, hold down Shift, because if I don't, I'm not going to hold it down. I'm just going to left click it. I can drag it and move it. Control Z. What we're going to do is hold down Shift, and then it can only go vertically or horizontally, but now we're just going to go vertical. So boom, look at this. That frame's here. That frame is here. That frame is here. Let's click play. Let's see if it works. Oh my goodness. So a couple things you'll notice is that when we click play, it goes all the way to some frame and stops. You'll notice down here in the timeline view, right, that we have this bar here. If we set that to 41, and we click this little button over here, which is like an Ouroboros, do and of itself, loop it. It'll only go to 41, and we can loop it now. Very nice. Very nice. It's beautiful. We're done. No, we're not. We need to now ease in and so there's actually 12 principles of animation. And one of those principles of animation, I wonder if they have it here, 12 principles of animation. I didn't even look that up. This is why you got to plan out videos ahead of time. It does not have it, although I do have it up somewhere else and somewhere that I've made. And what the animation that we're looking for, that's a poster, is the squash and stretch principle right here. So that's what we're going to use to give the ball elasticity. Let's look up some examples of the squash and stretch. That's a good one right there. When an object falls down, it squashes, and as it rebounds, it stretches. So this is for elasticity. That's a really good one right there, right? One of the 12 principles of animation, you can thank Disney Studios for that one, all right? So we need to create something where down here around this area that it's interpolated, right? See this line? It means it's interpolated between the keyframes. We need to add some keyframes in here and squash them. Now we could add our own keyframes by doing insert keyframes, and we could do this ourselves, and that wouldn't be that hard. So we just do insert keyframe and then insert keyframe, right? And then those are just F6s at this point, right? So we could do that. But the problem with this is it takes too much time to animate all these frames. Now we could absolutely go through it frame by frame, and if I was creating an anime and I was gonna like create a Demon Slayer arc and then have like, I don't know, Tangerine or Tanjiro charge his you heard that right? And my wife calls him Tangerine. You know, what do they call that? That key pose frame where like they light their sword on fire, right? And then they strike. We could add on more, but we're gonna do something else. We're gonna highlight all this. So I left click, held, shift, left click. We're gonna animate on the 2s, or do I left click it? There we go. That worked. So this is animating on the 2s. So actually, anime does this. They actually take their frame rate, which is 24 frames per second, and they animate every other frame. And so you'll notice that now I can see every other frame dropping down gets to the bottom. And this allows us to have less time of working on our project because I don't have $30 million in my pocket to work on this. I have 10 minutes. So let's animate some of these frames. Let's squash this guy. And let's shift and pull it up. I'm also going to turn on my onion skin so I can see what the previous frames are going to look like. So we're currently here. Let's go here. We probably should stretch it a little bit, or squash and stretch it a little bit, right? Right, and then let's move it to in the middle. And we're just going to, and I have no idea what it's supposed to look like, truly, because I don't see as the Flash sees, as we were just talking about. All right, what do you think?
Hey.
How's that look? It almost looks very rubbery, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It doesn't look like my last one. This one looks like it it bounces in and out. Is that a problem though? No, not really. You can always go back and fix it, right? I think one of my issues is this thing. I think it just needs to be a little bit less squashed. And it could look better. I don't know. Just play with it. That looks better. It does look very reboundy, really elastic, right? So, something else we need to do as well. Go to the first frame. Because, like, what's the problem with this? What's the main problem if I say, hey, my animation is done? It doesn't look what? Like it's accelerating and decelerating? Right? Like, it looks like the same speed. Yeah, there's no, like, it doesn't look realistic. There's no physics. So what we need to do is we need to do what we call ease in and ease out. And that allows us to get that bounce to it. And that bounce will be this little guy right here. It looks like two S's. So let's change. How do I know it's 80? I played around. So go to the next one. No, we actually want to go to roughly to... We want to go to like frame 20. And no, we'll go to frame 40. I skipped some steps actually. I might have to redo this. Because I needed to do the ease in and ease out before I got this far. I really should have done it here. So let's do it again here. Where we only have these 3 keyframes. So let's do ease in and ease out this way. And I'll go to this one, I'll apply next, and I'll go here, and I'll do 80. Now if I click play. So yeah, so apparently you got to do the ease in and ease out before you start splitting up the animation frames. So hey, there you go. Look what happens. We made a mistake, we undid it, and we fixed the problem. But how easy is it to go back at this point and apply the animating on the 2s at this point, right? So just to reiterate, what I did was I clicked this. I did an ease in to the right of 80. Now you'll notice this guy right here has all zeros next to it. If you put 80 here, look what happens. It changes it, and we don't want that. And the reason that it changes it is because back here, when we did it, we chose 80, and it's a parabola. So it goes all the way back to the previous frame. So if I click apply previous, you'll see that it actually affects the previous frame. So you only really need the ease in and ease out. You don't need the bounce at the bottom, the in and out. You would do this. Yeah. What's that? Yeah, can I talk to you later? That was a friendly call. All right, that's it. Let's animate on the 2s. We highlight it. Animate on the 2s. Boom, go back and squash and stretch it to your liking. You really shouldn't do the squash and stretch until after it bounces. What is it? Let's get an image of what it really is supposed to look like after the bounce. So we're supposed to do more vertical. Hold down Shift. And then this next one's supposed to be a little bit more. Okay, I've got a reference I'm looking up here. And this one, hey, so check this out. So this is the one on the bottom. The one right before it, you're actually supposed to squash it just a little bit. Even though it never touched the ground, it still gets squashed because it's a visual indicator. And even though physically it still never touched the ground, we're still affecting it. That's interesting. That looks pretty good. It looks very elastic. I bet you what we're supposed to do too is after this one, right here, on the next one, instead of it being perfect, you kind of want to have it just a little bit less again. Right? Just to give us an extra rebound. That looks good. I like it. Do you like it? I like it. Alright. We ended up by doing File, Export, Animated GIF. This should be easy. You want frames 1 to 41. Click OK. It'll take some time. I like the Christmas colors too. Actually, now that I look at it, the problem with using green for the circle is that when you have your onion skin on, look, the onion skin, you can see it right now. Green means the previous frame, red means the next frame, right? I have 2 greens on my screen. So it can actually kind of be visually confusing which one's your previous and which one's your current. All right, let's pull up the video. Let's see what it looks like. And what did we call this? Hey, good enough for government work. Let's go. Okay. Thank you guys. That was 15 minutes. All right. Well, that's it. And what I want to say, see you later. Happy holidays.
Bye-bye. Happy holidays.
Hi, YouTube.